And don't forget, we open up the email bag to read your notes and comments on Wednesday morning, and our email address is earlyed@vancouver.cbc.ca. 9 minutes to go now before 7 o'clock. You're listening to CBC Radio 1. Donations, letters from the mayor, town hall meetings. The whole town of Abbotsford is getting behind grade 12 student Alexandria Mitchell. That's because she's been invited to attend the United Nations Climate Conference next week in Copenhagen. Alex is the only teen youth delegate there from BC, and she's the Early Edition's bright light this morning. And she's here in Studio 10, all smiles and anxious to travel. Good morning.
Good morning.
Thanks for being here. Congratulations.
Thanks for having me, yeah.
Oh, it's our pleasure. So how does a 16-year-old from Abbotsford get an invitation to attend a World Summit?
Well, actually, I had applied to become part of a national climate change caucus where we would be discussing environmental issues all across Canada. And from there on in, the opportunity sort of presented itself to attend the conference. And I am so excited to be able to be the eyes, ears, and voice of BC and Abbotsford in Copenhagen.
Where did you develop this passion for climate change?
Well, it first started out, I've been involved in environmental issues for the last few years, but it first started out for me when I was in grade 7, and I did a science fair project on recycling, and I'd found out that my school district wasn't recycling, and I thought that was crazy, and that something should be done about it. And ever since then, I've just decided to continue on with that passion for environmental work. I sit on the Environmental Advisory Committee for City Council in Abbotsford, and I participate in a wide variety of different projects. And it's all about just discussing things, dialoguing with people, and being as big of a youth advocate for environmental work as I can.
And you live in a city where it's one of the most sensitive airsheds in the planet.
Yeah.
In fact, Abbotsford does have a pollution problem.
You're absolutely right on that.
So how does it feel to live there and look up and say, this is going on in my own neighborhood?
Well, I think the issue sort of hits home a lot more. I was involved a few years ago in the campaign against SE2, and that was a huge issue for those of your listeners that remember that issue in the Fraser Valley. So a big issue there. And again, it's all about protecting our communities, making sure we have healthy communities for the future, making sure we have clean water and clean air. And it's definitely relevant in Abbotsford and all across BC, but especially in the Fraser Valley.
So here we are. We're on the eve of heading off to Copenhagen to attend the big summit, the UN summit. What are your goals?
My goal is, right now, it's to broaden that discussion on climate change, to get as many people as I can interested in the topic from all different perspectives. It's about coming in and discussing and dialoguing, broadening the discussion as much as possible. And then while I'm in Copenhagen, taking as much information that I can and bringing that back to BC to utilize that information and that new knowledge that I'll have to benefit my province, because there is no other province like BC. It's a beautiful province, and we need to do everything we can to protect it.
What do you say to those naysayers that say, climate change, it's all overblown, the science isn't there? What do you say to them?
I think it's important to recognize that we can't be short-sighted in the way that we're thinking. Health of people and individuals is related to environmental sustainability. It's related to social issues, and it's related to economic sustainability. And it's important to recognize that all those things go hand in hand. It's not about only environment and only saving trees. It's about helping people. So I think it's important not to be short-sighted about things. It's important to think long-term and for the longevity of British Columbia and Canada itself.
So, Alex, what are the folks in your community in Abbotsford doing to help you prepare for your journey?
Well, they're being very supportive so far. There's been a lot of media through newsprint and such. But this Wednesday evening, December the 2nd, at the University of the Fraser Valley, there will be a plug-out tune-in climate change town hall featuring Dr. William Rees, who is the creator of the ecological footprint, and he's a professor at the University of British Columbia. So he'll be coming out for that. And it's open to the entire community. Councillor Patricia Ross of Abbotsford City Council will be presenting, as well as Dr. Tim Cooper, a professor of physics at UFB.
You helped organize this?
Yeah, I'm presenting the event, and it's all about getting people engaged and involved and interested before the climate change conference in Copenhagen. So people can support me by coming out to that. It's free to the public, and I think it'll be a great event.
How else have you raised money for this?
Basically from community supporters, just making asks and asking for support from people. And so far, I'm partially there. I have a little ways left to go. But anyone that's interested in helping out can make a donation through the Fraser Valley Conservancy and receive a tax receipt, as long as they put subject Alexandria Mitchell at the bottom.
Pretty good salesperson, too. Well, have fun.
Well, thank you very much.
Have you ever been there before, to Copenhagen?
I've never been to Copenhagen, so I'm very excited. And the whole time that I'll be there, I'll be presenting information and sharing my journey with people through my website, which is plugouttunein.com.
Wait a minute. Plugout. TuneIn.com.
That's right. So check it out. There'll be videos and blogs and photos the whole time I'm there, so you can share in the journey.
All righty. Well, have a great trip.
Well, thank you so much.
Have fun time at the open house, too, at the town hall meeting.
Yeah.
And safe journey.
Thank you very much.
Alexandria Mitchell, grade 12 student, Abbotsford Collegiate. She's attending the United Nations Climate Conference next week in Denmark. And she's our bright light this morning here on the Early Edition.